I'm telling you what, this has been the hardest video I think I've ever made. And it's my fault. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Brian at Two Indians. How y'all doing today? I hope you're doing great. Today is like 2 days after Hurricane Ian came blasting through Central Florida here. So we're glad to have power and air conditioning back on in the house, which will allow me to finally finish this video, which is the second installment of our trip out to Durango, Colorado for the Durango Rendezvous, which is the best motorcycle rally I've ever been to because it is like nothing else. Now, if you haven't seen the first episode of this series, then I suggest you click on this link right up here and check it out. It details our trip from Orlando, Florida, about 2,000 miles all the way out to Durango, Colorado, and the first few days that we spent in Durango, just Barbara and I spending some quality time together before all the big festivities started. And it is a lot of fun. We got to do a lot of cool stuff. But the cool thing is that after the first couple of days that Barbara and I spent together, I think it was like the fourth night we were there, there was a reception down at the bar at the Skyview Casino. All the guys and gals that were the organizers of the event, Terry and Mindy Kinnett, who is the main organizer, and Curtis Sawyer was there also, and a bunch of others that started to get into town early too. And it was great because we all just got to hang out, finally meet each other in many cases, and get to know each other a little bit, and it was a fantastic time. It was really good. The next day, there's a guy named JT McLean and his wife Maggie. They're from Alabama. He's kind of like a rock star in the Indian world now. Everybody knows who he is. The guy is super cool, such a sweet man. He and their friend Ron and myself went on a trip up to Telluride, which is about a 4-hour ride, 5-hour ride. It was a long day, trust me. But we also went with Tim Sutherland and his wife Sandra, and Tim's mom also. Y'all know who Tim Sutherland is from Indian Motorcycle of Charlotte. We had a great time winding our way up through to Ouray. Well, here, check this out. We went up to Silverton and had a nice lunch together, and then we broke off from them, and JT and Maggie and Ron and I rode up to Telluride, Colorado. Here, check this out. So there we are on our way to Telluride. We get there, and of course my battery had died on the way there. And so I got to tell you that while we were in Telluride, I did get some great photos. I got a tiny bit of video of downtown. We bumped into Curtis Sawyer and some other folks. And after about an hour and a half or so in downtown Telluride, we hopped back on the bikes and we hauled ass home. Obviously I have no video because I didn't have any batteries, but it was a magnificent ride because we had a beautiful sunset, and of course with JT leading, it was a fast ride. I'll put it that way. Now the next morning I really had to start focusing on my presentation. And I wanted to tell you that the whole reason that Barbara and I went out to Durango is we were invited by the organizers to give a presentation about our YouTube channel and who we are and what we're about. We were going to be one of the featured speakers there. And I had prepared a presentation, and a couple days before the event, which is this day, I got the chance to put it up on the big screen in the convention hall and kind of do a quick run through and see how things were going to look. Well, I started to realize that it was not going to work for the room, for just the way everything was set up. And I got to tell you, I was crushed and I was nervous and I was a little bit scared, to be honest, because we'd found out that a bunch of people from Indian Motorcycle were going to be there. And I wanted this to be absolutely perfect because, you know, I want to represent the brand, and obviously I'd like to catch the eye of the folks at Indian in a positive way. And I was like totally devastated because now here I have what I believed was a crappy presentation, and I had to rework the whole thing. I got a little bit nervous about it. And so for the rest of that day, which was Wednesday, and practically all of Thursday, I stayed in the hotel room and worked on my presentation. Internet was slow, things like that, and I had to download a bunch of content because I didn't have all my assets with me that I have on my normal computer at home. You know, I kept some of the stuff I had originally intended to use, but the bulk, the meat of the presentation, I had to change completely. And it became something that I was very upset about and very nervous about, and it showed. And Barbara kept trying to get me out of the room, and I came down to hang out at the bar for a little bit to de-stress. And I'll never forget, there was a couple there named Vince and Patricia Walburn, and they're followers of our channel. And I came out of the elevator, and Patricia was down at the bottom, and she saw me. And she goes, "Brian, you don't look so good." And I'm like, "Oh man, I'm so nervous about this." And we had a brief discussion, and she just put her hand on my shoulder, and she said, "Brian, it doesn't matter." She goes, "We're all your friends. We like you no matter what, and if you screw something up or whatever, it's not going to make a big deal." And I got to tell you, at that moment, I really felt the weight of the world come off of me. And so, Patricia, I know I told you this at the rendezvous, but it meant the world to me. The whole purpose of this week is to raise money for Veterans Charity Ride, and the organizer of that is Dave Fry. And he does an incredible job putting this event together with Terry and with everything else. And one of the things that is part of the event is before the banquet night, Dave and the veterans all ride into the Skyute Casino, and there's a big ceremony where, you know, all the people, all the attendees, we're all there to honor the veterans. And it's a really cool thing. About an hour or so later, we all start congregating in the banquet hall, which is decorated to the nines, man. There are these classic bikes from Indian Motorworks, which I'll get into in just a minute. And it's a big deal. There's vendor tables. Barb and I set up our shirts and hats and stuff like that, and we sold a bunch of stuff. And Randy Verdon from Buffalo Brand Horns was there, a whole bunch of people. And so there were a bunch of presenters throughout the evening, including Dave Fry from Veterans Charity Ride. And time was getting close to my presentation, and I had a table right up front. I had set up a camera because I was going to record the whole thing. So I put on my bravest face, and I was getting all prepped for my presentation, and I forgot to hit record. I mean, isn't that like me, right? I had batteries all charged, ready to go, and I forgot to hit record. And so the only video we have of me being up there is what Ricky shot. And of course, Barbara took this picture because I asked her to come up and take the picture. But The presentation turned out great. I was really thrilled with the reaction I got. Of course, it was mainly jokes and, fun stuff. And I showed some clips from our YouTube channel, all the, some funny stuff. And it was a great night. If you get a chance to come out, make sure you come out next year for Durango Rendezvous. The next morning, Barbara talked me into doing the Ride Like a Pro course, which she had done while I was upstairs sweating it out on my presentation the previous day. And I dropped my bike a couple times.
It's about time, Brian, that we put out all day. Hey! That was a beautiful dismount, by the way.
It happened. What can I say? I mean, I'm not used to sitting there doing 12-foot circles, but I did it. I got through it. I think I did okay. And the guys that Ride Like a Pro were awesome. Also recommend you do that. Now that night, we went to a place called the Bar D Ranch. I think it's Ranch, but it's the Bar D, whatever it is. And it's a kind of a music show, and you have some barbecue, and you have some food. And you sit around and you watch these four guys up on stage play music, tell jokes. It is hilarious. It was a great time. Just some good old-fashioned fun.
They're sure salsa with sweat. They're riding hard to catch that herd, but they ain't caught 'em yet. And they've got to ride forever on that range up in the sky. Of course, it's starting fire. As a rattle did it cry. As the riders looked on by him, he heard one call his name. Mr. Rogers. If you want to save your soul from hell, riding on our range, then cowboy, change your ways today, or with us you will ride, trying to catch the devil's herd. Because he's in the sky. Ghost riders in the sky.
Dairy and tofu eating machine vegan. Hashtag decaffeinated. It's puree. It's sauteed. It's frappe. It's feng shui. It's lactose intolerant. Frog masseuse. C-I-E-I. That frog don't like a no.
Hey, I didn't get a word you said, Joel.
No.
We had a space for 2 words, and you went nuts.
You were you were playing that little bitty fiddle of yours. It was flowing from my soul like Jello from a nursing home. Good night, everyone. I don't even remember what I said. What was it again? Frog masseuse, C-I-E-I-O. Frog masseuse, with a rubber here and a rubber there. Here, rubber, there, rubber. And okay, this, I got, and a hit that here, hit there, here a hit, there a hit. Old Matt Bomber had a misfit.
And then the next day, oh my gosh, it was such a whirlwind. Like, we were there for a whole week. And then the next day was the last day, and it was super cool because there's this guy named Jeff Grigsby, right? And he has this place called Indian Motor Works. And at Indian Motor Works, he renovates and rebuilds old Indian motorcycles. And the guy's world famous for it. He has this incredible shop with all these old tools and stuff that he's had for 30, 40 years, whatever. And he's got a huge collection of bikes there and parts for anything. I mean, the guy can make anything there. It's super impressive. He kind of gave me a quick tour. We were gonna do an interview and a complete sit down with him, but later that morning, the rest of the crew came out to see his shop. Now, this is a very special thing because his shop is not open to the public. It's not a museum, it's not anything like that. It's an operating shop where he actually works on bikes. It's kind of a very exclusive thing. So we were very lucky to get there and to get a tour of it and to check everything out inside. So I'm hoping to put a complete video together on his shop. It's taken me 4 months to do this video, so I don't even know if I'm gonna get to that. I plan on going next year. I hope you guys plan on going. But with that being said, this is it, man. I guess we're kind of done here. Thank you guys for watching. What did I miss? I've got some notes here. Check it out. I didn't even look at them once. Yeah, I think I covered it. 2 Indians out. This video has been, you've heard of the term writer's block, right? You know, a writer sits down at the typewriter or the keyboard and is just stuck and can't do anything. And I really feel this way because I didn't shoot video for like the last 3 or 4 days except these very small pieces that you saw. As a matter of fact, Ricky Not So Martin, I'm sure if you noticed, provided me with a bunch of his video that he shot while he was there. And without his contribution, I don't know if I ever would have finished this video. So thank you, Ricky. I appreciate it. You are a gentleman and I love you, man. You're just the best.